Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Tastes even better out of this mug, too.
Join the team.
Hey, theMCGuiRE Review, and today we're going to take a look at a bunch of maps from Paizo. Now, they do these maps both for their IP of Pathfinder and Starfinder. They all are wet, dry, and permanent marker erase mats. So these things can take a beating. They're nice and thick. They're high quality. And you can do the wet, dry, and permanent marker on them and just wipe them clean. So they're really nice from that perspective. They're fairly low cost. Most of them are kind of in those teens range. Sometimes when they're the double packs or they're like the gigantic maps, they do maps that are like the normal size maps. They also do like these giant size maps. Those can be a little bit more expensive, kind of in that $20 range. It's still low in the 20s, but most of them are kind of in the teens, so they're really well priced, I think. And again, this is MSRP, so you can get these even lower cost than this depending on where you get them from, or how long each map has been out. So that's really, really good from a pricing standpoint. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of these, and I want to show them. We've done videos in the past on these maps, so this isn't like a first for this kind of content. But there are a number of newer maps that we've been sent, we have here, and I want to be able to go through those maps and show the maps and do some comparisons, because I think there is some things from a review perspective I want to call out. There's some praise I want to give, but there's also some stuff that I definitely want to call out from a review perspective that I've seen here in these maps. Okay, we're going to start with these Starfinder maps. The other thing that I'll say as I'm kind of getting these open is... here's a good example. This is a double pack, right? There's two in this one. And what's this one priced at? This one's priced at $26.99 MSRP. And there's two that are in this one, and it's from the Starfinder IP, right? Which isn't as broad as the Pathfinder. So, again, right, you got to kind of break that down with how much you're paying for each map, and then what you can get this for on third party. So... one of the good things about these maps is it doesn't really matter if you pick up the Starfinder maps or the Pathfinder maps. And I say that because they're so reusable, you really can use them for any IP, for any game that you play. Yes, some of these maps are more general, where like this one just says enormous battlefield. Some of them say like, swamp or a temple area. And then some of them are specifically designed and branded for certain adventures either in Starfinder or Pathfinder. So that's really cool as well when they have the specific maps for some of their larger or more popular adventure paths. But it's also awesome when they do kind of the general ones, as you can use this for Starfinder, you can use this for Pathfinder, you can use this for any RPG system that you want to. Okay? It's got the 5-foot squares on it. You can use it for anything you want. All right, here's just called the basic terrain. It's nice and bright and poppy. You can see there, okay? And then on the other side, and they're always double-sided, so you're actually getting 4 maps, not 2. You're actually getting 4. That was probably, wasn't really stated properly there. You're getting 4 maps. And then this side here, it's kind of a more general area as well, looking like it's on some form of a rocky type of planet with a little stream that's going through there. But again, as you can see, you can use this for a lot of different things. I'll be running games all the time, or it doesn't matter what system it is, and I'll go to these maps and I'll pull like my environments, my battles. I always go to these maps and use these maps. Now this one's interesting. It's a very, very basic general. What do they call this one? Just basic terrain. This is almost like if you're in some kind of like maybe if you're in a hollow deck of some ship, or you literally just want a very, very basic, I don't actually have any that are like this setting, and then you can put your trees, you can put your machinery, you can put whatever you want on there, and just sort of use that as a very, very basic platform. Maybe it's a sandy environment, a snowy environment. You can do lots with that creatively. And then on this side, you've got another very basic, general, just outdoor area. Now, when you have maps that are like this, even the ones that are like this, again, you can put a number of these out on the table and even do miniature tactical games using these as your kind of your base terrain that then you can put your stuff on and build out. So that's another thing I want to mention. Maybe you're not you're watching this video and you're not an RPG person. You can get these maps and use these maps for even playing tactical miniature games. And I've done that. So that's a good example here of this one. We'll move a little quicker, right? I just wanted to... We'll take a minute on some of these just to kind of prove the point out, and then we'll move a little bit quicker here. So this one is an example of their enormous map. So as you can see, this one is much larger than what we just looked at, okay? Look, I mean, this map is enormous, okay? So you can see there the detail, how big that map is, right? These enormous ones would work really well if you wanted to play like a miniatures tactical type game. And that can be your base, right? And you'll notice they got like the creases in it. That's going to be with any of these maps. They will flatten out after you kind of put it on the table and let it sit for a little bit. They'll flatten out. They flatten out nicely, just fine. And that's because they're made of this really thick, material. They're not like a paper, okay? They're made of a really thick material. And then this side is awesome. Like that, I love this map. This may be one of my favorite maps out of all the maps that we have here, just in its sheer size, as well as just like how cool that's designed. I love this map. It's so awesome. That snowy, kind of frigid region. So there's an example of like what an enormous map would be. How much does that MSRP for you? $26.99 is an MSRP on that one, right? See how big that is. Okay, then we've got another one here that looks like a singular. Again, it's two maps because they're always double-sided. And you get the amusement park. Okay, so there's an amusement park area. This is used specifically, this could be like an area of your ship. These ships are very large, and you could have an area of the ship that has an amusement park. You could be on a planet that has an amusement park. And both of those sides have kind of a different look. And I really love the use of when they hit these blues and purples with the little glowy lights. All of that's done really, really well. Okay, that's another map. This one here for me, probably not as much reuse. This is probably more specific. These two, huge reuse, and you could do a lot with these. I would highly recommend these two specific ones for just general use across a number of different things. Maybe not this one so much. This is more specific. Okay, so we'll put this over here. We'll take a sip of the Band of Badgers. It's not Band of Badgers coffee, but it's definitely the Band of Badgers mugs. We'll take a good sip of that. Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Tastes even better out of this mug, too. Check out the Band of Badgers merch if you want one of these cups. And on the other side, we've got our whole Rise of the Rune Lords crew that's on this side. There's me right there. Silik and Bear. Yeah. So awesome. Okay. You can get some of that merch if you want, if you go to the Band of Badgers website here on YouTube. Okay, so now what we have is the Pathfinder maps. So let's move the Starfinder stuff just a little bit out of the way here. And we've got these Pathfinder maps. You are going to definitely have a different look and feel. The Starfinder maps are going to be more like world terrains, very unique type inner ship type terrains, space terrains. These are going to be more fantasy-based, so you're going to get your caverns and your outdoor areas and things like that, your taverns, all that kind of stuff. Okay, this one here has got a really cool look. I love this map. It's a little bit smaller, very awesome. It's got really great detail on things. And we're going to get up close on this one, and we're going to get up close on another one just to show you the difference and something I'm going to call out here. So this one here, so we'll have the side-by-side cams here soon. But this one here has got a lot of detail. That's really cool. And then over on this side, we've got a nice frigid area with sort of some corridors and some machinery and electrical type stuff. Very, very cool the way this works. We've even got something sort of like frozen inside of this big block here. So lots of different ways that you can actually use this, okay? So there's one of our Pathfinders. And this one's called Alien Ruins. So a little bit of the alien stuff here on this side as well, in the Pathfinder side. This one here is a more general boardwalk map. So you've got kind of the nighttime at the docks, right? This is another one I recommend. A lot of adventures. You'll start at the docks, or you'll go to a dock at some point that's off of these, kind of off of the coast of a lot of these different areas, right? There you got another sort of nighttime kind of dock environment. Actually, this would be more of the daytime or kind of a stormy stormy day at the docks, and this would be more of the night heist mission at the docks, as you're probably trying to steal a boat or something. I don't know. Could be lots of different things. That's kind of more of a general one, but those general ones work really well to kind of build out your campaigns. This one is called the Swamp Ruins, and let's see. We've got the... okay, that's a good example of one that's specific for an adventure. And we just would have released a video where that adventure, I talk about that booklet adventure in that. So if you're curious on what that adventure is, you can watch that video. What we have right here is a general area again, and it's the swamp, okay? So you got kind of a basic swamp there, and then on this side, you've got kind of some ruins with that swamp as well. Now, one of the things I'm going to call out here, on this side, it doesn't look so bad because of the color variations between these grays and the greens. Although I'm going to say the details don't really pop as much as they do on other maps. This side here, in my opinion, is not great. Okay, so this is where I want to call out from a review perspective. I'd like to see them do these types of things a little bit better. On all these other maps, the way they do their color combinations make everything very poppy, and it makes the details pop on the map. And when you get down close to the map, you can see the details really well. What's interesting is when they do maps like this, and this one in particular, that has a lot of these green areas, it's like the water should have been more blue. The greens should have had more color contrast between the greens. These browns that are on these buildings should have been a different color popping. And because it all sort of follows the same sort of, and I get it, it's a swamp, it's supposed to look all like mossy, but you got to do something different with your contrast of the green color wheel, or you're going to get a map that's like this that just feels bland, right? Like everything just blurs together. And what happens is when you set it out on the table, you don't, like, obviously, yeah, you can see there's a house there. You can see there's this thing here. You can see there's like this little hole and this little like green bush right here. But it doesn't really jump out at you and pop at you. It just feels very bland. And when it feels very bland, it actually takes away from the detail that they've spent time doing on this map. And you'll see this on the side-by-side cam. When you zoom into this map and you look at these leaves, and like the detail is there. It's very, very highly detailed. But unless you get up on this map like this, you lose all of this detail looking at this map from arm's length, where you don't lose that detail looking at these other maps at arm's length because of the use of those color contrasts between the greens and the browns and the grays and the blues and whatever, right? They're far enough apart that they actually, through the eye, create that stacking and that three-dimension, and that detail isn't lost. When you get these colors that are all right next to one another, it's almost just like this blurred brush across the map. So I'm not a fan of this map. I think this could have been done a lot better. But again, these are review videos that I do. I'm not a fan of this map, and I would not recommend this map. I would recommend every other map we've looked at on this channel. I would not recommend this one because of that. And I think they definitely could do a better job there. And it's just feedback to kind of take into account when you print these and you look at them. Make sure your color contrasts are far enough apart that you really retain that detail. And they've done maps like this that are in these sort of like ruins, swampy outdoor areas that detail is not lost because they really have the color combinations right. So it might have been a printing thing on this one, or maybe it was just a mistake in the design for the colors that were used. Okay, now we're going to now show the enmity cycle. So this was a map that was specifically designed for a adventure path. It was a single booklet adventure path. Again, we've already done a video kind of talking about that one a little bit. And sometimes they do this where they make maps that are specifically designed. And see the difference? And I know this is supposed to be a sand environment, so you're naturally going to have the color contrasting there. But see the difference of how much this one's like just popping based on what we just looked at, right? And you still could have done this if this was a greenish color, if you would have added more whites in with the green and then kept these either much darker or much brighter than what you have here on the base, okay? I've said enough about that. So this one's really cool. It goes directly with that adventure, and then on the other side here, you've got kind of a more general inside of that area that we were looking at. So this is pretty cool. And again, even though it's made specifically for a specific adventure, it isn't that you can't use it for any type of other adventure where you go into the desert and you find this big, palace and yada, 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 right? You can use it for anything you want. Okay, this one here is Darklands Dangers Multi-Pack. So this one is specifically for the Darklands. And this one is a dual pack as well, standard size, but double-sided. So you're getting 4 maps for the Darklands. These are phenomenal. I love these maps. And again, because of their use of the colors, even though this is a very dark, muted environment, they've got these really high poppy colors and glowing little mushrooms that are all through this area that really draw your eye in, and it makes all the details really pop. So they did a really nice job with these. I love these maps. These will get a lot of use. Look at this side, just littered with them shrooms all through there. There's some water, I think, in one of these. This map in particular could be used for a number of different adventures in, we'll say, another system. So again, these are kind of system agnostic. You really don't have to use these. Let's say you don't play Pathfinder, you don't play Starfinder. I suggest you come and you buy these maps for your RPG experiences in other systems. Okay? So here you've got kind of a lava as you go deeper into that area, and then here you got kind of an underground river, right? Maybe this is a layer that's even deeper than the lava. If you want to like go down through these areas, which creates kind of a cool experience where you've got 4 maps, and maybe that's 4 layers as you're kind of going down underground. And once you get to that final layer, maybe you have a boss fight there or something, right? So these are really awesome. Okay, so that's the video for today. Again, these maps are awesome. You can get them directly from Paizo. You can get them on a number of different websites. These are all newer ones, and again, this was all MSRP pricing, so you definitely can get a little bit of a better deal out there, depending on where you pick them up. All right, so great job, Paizo. Continue with these maps. It's a phenomenal offering. It's general for any RPG. Remember that. So don't shy away from these if you have nothing to do with Pathfinder or Starfinder, and let's say you play D&D 5th Edition, let's say you play any of the newer systems that are coming out, let's say you play Alien, any of those, these maps will absolutely work for any of those systems, and I don't really think any of those other IPs do as good of a job creating all the different variety and all the different maps at the quality at what Paizo's doing. So, awesome job on that overall, and team, with that, keep rolling them crits. This has been the McGuire Review, and we'll see you next time.